Okay, so I had a brutal interruption, and in my haste, instead of uh, using the pause button, I hit the stop button. And if I do that, I can't continue with that recording. And if you see a B episode, then I couldn't add the second video to the first one because in my very earlier episodes, if you have been watching from that time, you will see that I have difficulty because I've only got a Samsung, so no iPhones and iMovies and stuff around here and editing and things. If I want to combine the more than one video with each other, the second one's sound goes out of sync with my lips, and that I know that's not nice to watch. So if I can't add the two together, combine the two, I would rather have a B. So if you see a B, then welcome back. I was busy. You see, that's why I haven't recorded for a while, because I was anticipating interruptions, and that happened again today with people moving in and out of the house. I'm sorry for my misbehaving cat. She do like some attention. I was busy telling you about the Attitude Cowl by Julie Dubreux from Paris. Julie knits in Paris, and her workshop. But the workshop will be to knit a sweater or a cardigan or whatever that fits you. But while I'm practicing color work and doing cowls, I thought that this may be a nice pattern of hers to knit. So I told you about the yarn, and here is what I have so far. And this is what I told you earlier. Here's my beginning of round marker. So my beginning of round was inside this motif, inside this little man with attitude. And every time when I see that the first stitch of the next round is going to be in a different color, I take out my marker, I slip the first stitch, and I put back my marker. So my beginning of round has now shift from here. This is still very untidy business going on here because I use different colors and I have to still make it neat. But this is where I start with my beginning of round. So you can see that I've moved it, then actually moved up to there. So my beginning of round is moving with one stitch in the rows where I think there might be a jog. And I think it's working because I think it's not, you don't see that prominent jog. If I'm in, say in the middle there, where I'm using the same color at both sides of the marker for the end of the round and the beginning of the round, then I don't change, I don't shift my marker. I just continue knitting because it's the same color and you can't see a jog. And a lot of people has asked me, how do I knit color work? So the one thing I can tell you is just practice, 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 and knit a lot of color work things. That's the only way that you can maybe see what works for you. What I know by now is what does not work for me is to, a lot of people do continental in the one hand and English knitting with the other hand. I might do that if I've got only one stitch, say every 4 or 5 stitches that's in the one color. But I do not like knitting continental because it messes with my gauge, or my stitches are just not that neat. I've got a funny little wildcat in the room now. So what I do, how I knit my color work is I knit English style. So I have both yarns, I wrap both yarns around my little finger. That's how I keep my tension. And then when I have to knit with a blue, I take the blue and I knit with it. And if I have to knit with a brown or the other color, I leave that one and I take up this one and I knit with it. I'm not really that into fast knitting. I like the process. I like the way the design is appearing in front of me, and I just like knitting and doing the color work and trying to get it as neat as possible. And at the back as well, I do like neat color work at the back as well. So that's just it. I just keep it in my right hand and knit English style with both yarns. And I don't mind dropping one and then taking up the other one and knit that stitches and drop it again and knit with that one again. And before you know it, you've got little men with attitude. And the other very important thing is to keep, you must be able to, let me just turn it around. You must be able to stretch out your knitting. If you can do that, it's fine. Then you are, Ali of Scandia Knits explained that well in I think episode 5. You can go way back and watch episode 5. I've downloaded that episode and I've watched it quite a few times, where she talks a lot about how she does color work and where she started with it and etc. So she says you have to stretch out your stitches. If you can do that, and if you can do this with your knitting, then your floats are fine. If you can't do this and stretch out your stitches like this while you're knitting, the ones that you've just knitted, and then it stretches out your floats, then your knitting and your floats will be too tight, and then your work will pucker. But do keep in mind that when you soak your knitting after you're finished and you block it, it will, because it's superwash, this is all superwash yarns, it will relax a lot and it will open up like that. So if you can do that while knitting, then I think it's fine. I don't like sloppy floats because then I don't like, then my stitches don't appear neat enough for me. And I don't, as I said before, earlier on, I don't catch my floats. I only catch them from about when they will go over 6 stitches. I might catch them in the 3rd or the 4th stitch. But I can even go 6 stitches without catching sometimes. But I think that's the minimum. So I'm knitting this way now to the side. So I will always just check and see if I can stretch out my stitches like this. Then I'm sure I'm fine with my tension and it's not too tight. Color work is not too tight and your stitches will look neat on the front. I did make a few notes a month or 2 back about my color work, but I don't have that with me now. I'm one of the most unorganized persons to podcast, really. I don't have notes and I never know what the date is or whatever. I'm just knitting and I'm just enjoying it. So bear with me. I think, yes, I think that's how I knit. That's how. So the other very important thing is the color in this cowl. The accent color is that burgundy brown color. That's the color, the motif and the color that you want to be accentuated. You want them to be just a little bit more to the outside of your knitting so that they are clearer, this brown. And that blue and the grey, that is your background color. So the only other important thing for me is to always have my yarn that is the accent color that are making your motif um, underneath the background color. So if you can see my float, then the float of the brown color that makes the motifs will be underneath, and um, the background colors will be over. The float will go over them, because if I knit, I will take them like this, and this one will always go over, and this one will always go under, because that is my accent color. So that one will always go over them, over the accent color. So your floats will, there is a lot of videos as well about that, about color work and about floats. So if you can maintain that, you will always have a neat inside. So if your cowl, if it falls open maybe and someone can see, it doesn't really matter, because your inside will also make a pattern. Actually, it's not double knitting, but it will also be neat. So if it is visible, it's not a problem. And your accent color will always be clearer. The stitches will be clearer. They won't disappear to the back. They will be a little bit more prominent. So that is the yarn. The accent color is the one that goes underneath, and your background color goes over. And if you find that your color work is tight, just go up a needle size. That helps a lot. I can't do that. I think I've in my mind, I'm so aware of not knitting tight and keeping the same tension when I'm doing color work, that I find if I use a too big a needle, my color work and the floats are too loose. But that will differ from one person to another person. So if you find that you can't maintain your gauge like your normal knitting, go up a needle size. That is also talked a big topic of discussion, and I really actually wish that the designers can put that in the patterns as well. And what I also would like, because sometimes I just want to show you something. You will always have, if you've got different motifs in your color work, for example, like in this cowl, you must actually keep pay attention from the one pattern up to the next pattern, which color is the one that you want to be more to be more prominent, which one is your background and which one is your accent color. And in this cowl it actually differs, and it would be so nice if maybe the designers can just add a column next to the chart to tell you, in this little chart or in this few rows, the blue will be your background color and the white will be your accent color. And then in this chart, definitely in the stars, you definitely want your blue to be your accent color and the white is your background color. But yeah, say for example, yeah, you want your white dots to be a little bit more accentuated. So yeah, you actually have to change your blue to the background color and your white speckles to your accent color. So that one will then have to go underneath and to your left. And the blue one will be over and to your the right strand. Here again, your white is your background and the blue is your accent color. So you have to change here quite often, actually. I actually realized that in the second half of this cowl is when I realized that in a pattern like this that's changing all the time, you will have to be mindful in each few rows which is the accent color and which is the background color. So here you want the white to be a little bit more prominent. So definitely I will have the blue as my background and the white as my accent color that will go underneath and to the left, held to the left. The background color is held to the right and the accent color is held to the left. Here again, your white is your background color and your blue is your accent color. So this is quite a good example of that you do get patterns where you will have to be mindful. In the whole chart, you may have different sections of where you have to change and decide which will be your accent color and which one is your background color. And it will actually be so nice if designers can put that in their patterns. But I know maybe it's just over the top of work, and maybe mention, some of them do mention it now, that if you find your gauge or your tension is too tight for your color work, you can go up one or even two needle sizes, but it's not something that's featured a lot in patterns that I've seen. Okay, so that is about then. That's it. That's what I wanted to add. But maybe it's a good thing that I'm doing the second section. Then I can talk a little bit more. So I will probably just go on and make this a bee. And then I can, while I've got the time now, I can just as well show you my last work in progress. It's a brioche cowl again. I'm doing a lot of cowls. I don't want to really say why. I'm a little bit afraid to say it because I'm not sure if it will realize, if I will manage it, and I'm a bit shy. So it might even happen that I'm too shy to do that, but I would like to give everyone, each and every one of the girls that are going on the trip to Norway, to give them each a cowl or to let them choose a cowl. But maybe I shouldn't have said that because maybe I might be too shy to do that at the end. I've been in positions like that before, that I think I'm going to gift someone one of my knitted items and then at the end I'm just too shy. For the people very close to me that I know very well, that's an easy thing to do for me. But then sometimes I just can't get myself to actually do it. So let's see if I can have 7 cowls finished and take them with and ask, maybe just ask them. If you don't want one, it's fine, but if you're interested in one, here's a few that you can have a choice of. So this is the Beginner's Brioche Cowl by Lavanya Patricella. I have knitted it before, and I'm doing it in one of a kind yarns 4-ply double knit. That's not, it's a much lighter yarn weight than is called for in the pattern. So I cast it on for this 120 stitches because I wanted it a little bit maybe bigger, not too tight. And I'm using a 3.75 needle because my brioche, especially in the round, is always loose. And I want it to be nice and, could I say neat? I'm always struggling to get my brioche to really be neat. So this is the one side. This side is always, I don't know, the stitches are not that neat. And that's the side that I pull. So maybe that's the reason. But if I soak it and block it, I'm sure it will be fine. The stitches will set. And this is this color is this one. And that's the stitches that I knit, and maybe that's why they are neater. So this is the yarn that is rubbing, the color is rubbing off a little bit in my hand and on this finger as well. But if I rinse it a little bit, I'm sure the color it will all be fine. So, and that's why I'm using a dark color so that it doesn't affect the color. If I use a very light color with this, I might have a problem, but with a dark color, it's not an issue. So this is a tool that I'm using. And it's a simple brioche cowl by Lavanya Patricella. I think that really is the ending. I've seen recently that I do get almost daily a new subscriber or two, and that really makes me happy, and that's what actually motivated me to do an episode again, because it will bother me and I will feel bad if I've got new subscribers and then nothing happens on the channel. So I really want to welcome you if you're a new subscriber, and if you're a returning viewer, I'm happy that you are back and sticking by me. And please, if you press the thumbs up, that might also show up more in YouTube, and then I might get more subscribers, and it will also motivate me, because it's a little bit it's difficult if you do not have some kind of huge, the more followers you get, the more you will get. So if you don't get followers, it can be a little bit, I can't find the correct word at the moment, demoralizing or whatever. I'm not sure if that's the right word. So that at times you think, oh, whatever, I don't have a lot of subscribers, people are not interested in what I have to say, I'm not sure if I should go on, or it doesn't matter if I take a month or 2 or 3 to do an episode again. But if I see new subscribers and I see thumbs up on my episodes, that really will motivate me to go on. And if there's people that I can see that are interested in what I have to show. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm really sure and I hope that it will not be 3 months before my next episode. And enjoy the autumn and the winter if you're in the northern hemisphere, and just think about us with a long hot summer ahead of us. Bye for now.